Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio, and today I'm joined by fellow RNT coach, Shaneeta Malik. Shaneeta's been a coach for over 10 years, is one of our first RNT Mastermind graduates, and if you're familiar with our 7 phases of online coaching, is a master of knowing when to wear which face for different client personalities and scenarios. As a mother of 2, she's an advocate of making lifetime changes that benefit the family as a whole. And in this episode, she shares great insight on how to best transform your body and change your life while navigating around the unpredictable schedules of young children. Shaneeta lives and breathes our mission of using the physical as a vehicle to transform your life. And it was her own experiences, her why, and what she benefited from in her own change that sparked her decision to enter the world of body transformation. If you're ready to take control, overcome your obstacles, and wake up every day knowing you're doing your best, mentally and physically, for you and your family, you're going to love this deep dive with Shaneeta. Cool, so how's your training going right now?
Yeah, it's going really well. Since I've been into this kind of gym routine, I'm constantly in the gym. I'm one of those girls who are completely addicted to it, which is brilliant for me. At the moment, I'm turning 40 in March next year, which is depressing. So what I'm doing, I'm just kind of living my life a little bit until January, and then you guys are all going to watch me start a whole new diet regime from January until March. So like a lot of my clients, 40 is the new 30, you got to look good. So that's going to be my goal. So that's going to be one to watch. So I'm really, really excited for that. For now, I'm taking a bit of a break. I'm enjoying life, not having that pressure on me, but yet the gym is part of my day-to-day life and healthy eating. But I'm going to just kind of zoom in on it a little bit more from January. So let's see, got to look good for that girls' trip that I know lots of my clients are planning and we're talking about. So yeah.
Where are you going?
Mykonos is the plan. Although one of my clients has just come back from Vegas and she's selling that to me. So let's see where that goes. So that's my short-term goal.
Nice. Made out the accountability right here that you're going to be doing. What is this, a photo shoot or?
Oh Akash, let's see. Let me see the photo shoot. Yeah, I think that is something I want to do, and my husband as well is turning 40. So hey, if he's listening to this, then he's going to do it with me as well. So that is the plan. All being well.
Talk about accountability, just raising the stakes and announcing it right on the podcast
without telling my husband. Throwing
out right on the stakes.
Exactly. So really exciting. I'm actually really excited for it, but got to get the rest of the year done first. So
amazing. How many days a week are you training right now?
I do 4 days a week resistance training. So I do 2 upper body, 2 lower bodies. I obviously get my 12,000 steps in every day. And then I always try and do one sort of cardio. I've been doing boxing for a long time. I think it was 1.5 years. And actually, for the past kind of couple of months, I'm getting a bit bored of it. And I think that's very normal to get bored of it. And I'm not disappointed at it. So I'm looking at what else I can do. I've been upping the Stairmaster actually as my cardio at the moment because just boxing's not doing it for me at the moment. So that's fine. I think it's very important for anyone listening to this is that you've got to enjoy it. It can't just be one of those things that, oh my gosh, I've got to go to the gym. That shouldn't be your normal attitude to going to the gym. You have to embrace it. And boxing is something I'm not enjoying at the moment. That's fine. So I'll do something else.
You typically do 4 weight training sessions and then you come with the rest. The other thing.
Exactly. My non-negotiable are 4 weight training sessions. I will always get that in no matter what my kids are doing, whatever my family need me, my husband needs me. Those 4 weight sessions are always in. And then the cardio, I like to throw in 1 or 2. And the walking, I walk to the gym, there and back with my umbrella if it's raining.
Yeah, which is quite a lot at the moment.
Exactly.
And how long have you been training for now?
I've been always training for years. So 10, 15 years, I've always been training. Now, when I say training, I say going to the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, so going to the gym and training to me are very different. I used to go to the gym because my friends did, and it was kind of the thing that everyone did, and it was more of a social thing, kind of like when you go to the library to study. You go because, everyone's going to kind of the library. But really properly training is, I'd say, 3-4 years. I remember when I had my second child, I was feeling horrendous, like I know a lot of the mums do. And I was just thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to, fit in my my workouts? And I just remember my child sitting in a car seat and me just putting on the Gillian Mitchell workout, which I know one of my clients does religiously, and just doing that quickly for 20 minutes just to make yourself feel better. So I've always been into it, but training, I'd say for 3 years.
Okay. And what was the shift in going from just going to the gym to actually diving yourself really into training? What was your flip?
Okay, so my flip is going to be into the kind of the why I do all of this. And it's because I lost my father 3 years ago. Sorry. When I lost him, it got me bad. And I know lots of people, clients are going through, and two of my clients are going through this at the moment. And it hits you hard. And even though they've got cancer, they're going to go. When they do go, you can't prepare yourself for it. So when I lost him, I was in a bad way. And then Aaron, my husband, had said to me, you need to get yourself mentally stronger for the children, okay, and for the family. It's very difficult to get yourself mentally stronger. For me, I couldn't just listen to a podcast. I couldn't read a book and say, okay, do you know what? Now I feel really good. I'm going to do this. Now, one thing that resonated with me, which all my family and friends know, that when my dad was going, he said to me one thing. He said, always be dignified in this whole process. Now, to be dignified for all of us, girl or boy, anyone, you have to be mentally strong. There are many different ways of getting this strength mentally. Thank God for me, I just delved into fitness. And that was my flip. You asked me my flip, and that's still it's a flip that's constantly going. That was my why. I need to get myself from this rut that I found myself in. I needed to have a goal for myself, whether it be a short-term goal, whether it be a long-term goal. I had to work for myself. I had to work for my family. I had to have that strength to get up every day, do my family proud, and as well as that, be dignified and do my dad proud as well. That's why I'm addicted to the gym. I remember when I really started, I went to a gym in London and I got into a similar kind of transformation, rooting myself in. And I remember there'd be so many days I'd be in the middle of a leg press and I would just start crying, not because of the pain of the leg press, but just because it was just my mental release. And I couldn't understand it. Tears would come to my eyes, but I'd leave that gym and I'd have just feel that little bit stronger. I'm not talking just about physical strength that I lifted more, I pushed more. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the mental strength that I gained from going to the gym and pushing myself to a point I'd never push myself. And if you can do that, then you can get through these harder things in life.
At what point did you find yourself in the process where you started feeling, like you said, dignified? You started feeling mentally stronger, started feeling more resilient?
Listen to me now. I don't know if I'm at that point. But I don't think there was a particular day I thought, do you know what? I'm I'm feeling strong now. I'm feeling dignified. Everyone around me said, wow, you're just being amazing. And it wasn't an act I was putting on. I genuinely was starting to feel stronger. I think probably a day of reflection, if I took a day out, was on my dad's one day. And I really sat and thought, and I genuinely mean this, if I hadn't had found something like fitness, I would be in a very different position than what I am today. So that's what I thought on my dad's 1 year, and the 3 years is coming up very soon. So I know that's going to be another day where I will reflect back and see where I've come. And it's important for people to realize that people who have their goals of they're feeling low, that their husbands left them, they themselves are losing family members. It's not something that you're going to go to the gym the next day and say, oh, hold on a minute, why don't I feel better? It's not like that. It's an ongoing process. And I got a big buzz out of the challenge, the push, the stress. Can I do it? And it changes your focus. And, it's really important. And it's something we've spoken about a lot in our RNT team meetings, that a lot of clients just worry about the people around them, that you can't always be there for the people around you if you're not mentally strong yourself, which is why I really cannot thank God or whoever it is that's put me in this position, which is why I thoroughly believe in this whole process, because it's got me and it's getting me out of the bad times. And who knows what's around the corner as well. So it's something that is so personal to everyone. And I think the beauty of it is everyone's got their own goals and the way they do it. And I look at that and it excites me and it changes my mood. And yeah.
Is it the relentless, almost obsessive focus on yourself that you feel drives the mental change that you gain from the process itself that comes from transformation?
Yes, I think you need to be, for anyone doing a transformation or doing anything like this, you have to be determined to meet your goals and to gain that strength. And sometimes it's not easy. And for anyone listening to this, some days are not easy, but it gets easier and you get stronger. And then once you've reached your goal, you're like, now what? And then you've got to go on to the next phase and then the next phase. And that, to me, is the beauty of this whole thing.
Why did you choose fitness as your outlet? What made you decide that was going to be your method of improving or of becoming stronger?
I've always been into fitness, always, but it was my husband who I think was concerned about me and just said, just go for it, try it, see if it changes your life. And it really has changed my life. That's why I am so grateful for it. I am so thankful that I'm here doing it. Sorry, I'm trying to compose myself now for this podcast.
Okay. Has your why evolved?
Yes, I would say my why has evolved. Okay, let's keep it real here. So I did it because I was in a mentally bad way. But yeah, God, my why's evolved now to kind of Ibiza trips, girls trips. I want to look good. I want to look, of course it is. I'm not going to lie. I want to look in the mirror and I want to look at myself and feel, yeah, I'm 40 and I've been through a lot. Like everyone has their story. And I think, it always changes, like for my children now, I've got to set the best example for my children when it comes to lifestyle, when it comes to nutrition. And it's something I'm massively, massively onto with the kids and amongst all my friends and family. They get so bored of me just going on and on about it, but it's something that plays a big, big part within our life. So yeah, my why is constantly evolving, to the short term, mentioned girls' holidays, to the long term, to my children.
Yeah, so it's now much more multifaceted. And
oh my God, massively.
It's so much of a non-negotiable that you mentioned earlier, where whereby that's always going to be in your diary no matter what's going on in your life?
Oh, a complete non-negotiable is I'm going to the gym 4 times a week. We go to Costa Rica on holiday, I'm going to the gym. I went skiing, I'll still go to the gym. I don't care what anyone says around me, I'm going. And that's for mental strength and for physical strength. So that's what keeps me happy. People can judge me, but you've got to come to a point also talking about judging that you've just got to stop caring what people think. And again, this is something we've spoken about in team meetings that, again, I feel very passionate about. Someone who's Indian and who gets the whole kind of, I went through the whole, oh my gosh, you look awful. I still go through it. You look awful. You've lost so much weight. You're this, you're that. It comes to a point where you try and explain to your family, look, this is why I'm doing it. I would be in a very different position. But a lot of the older generation don't understand. And I know a lot of my clients are going through this as well. And I just have to say that it comes to a point where you just have to say, you know what, if you don't understand, that's fine. But this is what I am going to do because it's the best thing for me and my family. So that's one thing. I've gone off on a tangent there, but that's one thing that really does bug me.
No, go ahead on that, because that's something a lot of people struggle with across all age groups, male and female, and especially in our community. What sort of advice do you give to other people who struggle with this? Is it a case of explaining to these older generation? Is it a case of just doing what you're doing? How do you overcome it to the point where the judgment reduces, if it ever does?
Okay, so I think the first thing that's important is that you have to respect the older generation and just understand that they're only doing it because they care for you. Okay, so you shouldn't let their comments get to you. They're not being most of them. We all have aunties, of course, who are trying to upset us. But most of the older generation are not trying to be vindictive at all. They're doing it because they think it's the right thing. Okay, so that's fine. So I started doing this. I've lost weight. Oh, my gosh, you look awful because you've lost your dad and this and that. And I was like, no, it's because you're working on yourself, on your body. And it comes to a point where they can keep repeating it, you keep ignoring it, and I think eventually they'll get bored and they'll find someone else to pick on in the family. And I think that's what's important for all our clients, is you're always going to get it. There'll be some people who will be jealous. There are some people because they can't do it, or there'll be some people who genuinely think that you don't look the right way, how an Indian girl of a mum of 2 children should look. Okay, that's fine. That's their opinion, but you have to believe in yourself that you are doing the right thing for yourself and for your family. And that's the key turning point here, is that you just need to switch off all the negativity around you and focus on yourself, because what you are doing is good and positive. That's the way that I've kind of evolved through this whole thing when dealing with family. And what's interesting, I went to India last year, and anyone who's been to India who is Indian will get the joke of, you get really worried when you go to India and someone says you look healthy, because if someone says you look healthy in India, it basically means you've put on weight. So I was really healthy after my wedding. And this time was funny because I was just thinking, oh my Lord, I'm going to go to India and I'm just going to get abused for looking ill and sick and, the opposite. And I couldn't believe it. I went to India and all my aunties in India were like, wow, you look amazing. What do you do? How do you do it? What do you eat? I was going to the gym out there in India, and there was, they were saying to me, what exercises do you do? I even did a promo for one of the gyms in India when I was out there in November. And I just came back home here to London, and I said to all my family, look, you need to get with it. Like, people in India completely understand XYZ, and all you hear are thinking about is you're looking ill because you've lost your father. So it's quite interesting, actually, the difference in mentalities.
That's very interesting. And one thing I want to touch on is, you mentioned a lot about how you have to focus on yourself in order to take care of your family. Can you expand on that a bit more? Because that's something I think a lot of women, especially after they have children, struggle with, in that they lose their identity and they struggle to bring any focus to themselves because they're so engrossed with parenting.
Completely. You are completely obsessed with your children when they're born and you do everything for them. But as a lot of my clients and myself and my friends, it comes to a point where you have to be yourself and you have to think of yourself and you have to have that own time to yourself. So that's why for me, fitness encompasses all of that, because not only are you having your own time for yourself day to day, you're also thinking of your strength in the long term to keep yourself healthy, to be there around for your children as long as possible. And not only that, my children are watching me get up at 5 a.m. To go to the gym. If we're going to a wedding all day, you have to get up in the morning. I've told you it's a long negotiable. You got to get in. You got to get the gym in. Then my husband goes, and they see that. And now I can see my 7-year-old son. He gets up before he's even left his room. He does press ups and wall squats because he knows that for his goal is to continue to be in the football A team. And he knows to do that, he's got to work at that goal. And I completely see that he's getting that from me and my husband, because he sees me and my husband constantly going to the gym and always focusing on our strength and our fitness. So that's kind of the exercise side of it. But then you've got the nutrition side of it, where it really hit me actually how much my habits are affecting my children. When we went to Greece on holiday and I ordered a dessert, and the reaction of my children, they were like, "Oh, Mummy's got a dessert. Oh my gosh, she's having ice cream. Oh my gosh, take a picture." And I was really shocked that, oh my gosh, I don't think they've ever seen me have a full blown dessert. I mean, maybe because when I go out for dinners, they're not with me, and that's why. But I was really surprised that they thought it was kind of abnormal to have sugar. And now they'll come and they'll sit there with their cereal boxes. We'll have them lined up and they'll be comparing the sugar content. And I'll be explaining to them, you can have it, but this is what's going to happen. So why would you have it? And I think that's the thing I'm learning as a parent as well, is it's very easy to say to your child, you're not having that, you're not having X, you're not having that. But actually, if you explain it and say, it's up to you. Do you want to have it? This is what's going to happen to you. If you're going to eat all this rubbish, you're not going to be in the football team. So it's completely up to you what you want to do. And, it's like, for example, my husband, a couple of years ago, we went on holiday and he really did something to his back. And I had the 2 kids and we had all the suitcases. And I know about 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, I would have really struggled. And God, that was an essence of girl power that day when I managed to carry in the suitcases, take them upstairs, carry the kids. And that to me was a big realization there that what I'm doing is good. Sorry, I've just jumped completely onto that point, which had nothing to do with my children. But yeah. I just had to get that in there. No, I was So going back to the family, it's key that they realize for themselves that for them to reach their goals, they need to change their habits now. What we do now for our children. My children are 7 and 4. What they do now is going to affect how they are going to be later on. And that's what is key here. Yes, what I'm also trying to tell my children, and it's like a running joke in the house, is that, I make this kind of this Indian vegetable dish, which are all the vegetables put together. And it looks horrendous. But I'm trying to explain to them, it doesn't matter if it looks horrendous. It's nutritionally good for you. It's going to do X, Y, Z for you. So this is why you should be having it. And sometimes, I'm not a massive fan of eggs. I'm not going to lie. I don't enjoy it. But that's what my son will say to me. Why are you having it? And I'm like, because, you've got to eat these things that are good for you. I'd much rather have a chocolate cake and an ice cream some days, but it's not going to get me to where I want to be. And that's kind of the message I think that we really need to think about for our children, not just being dictatorial, but very kind of, explain things as to why I am doing something. And it's all about my goals.
When you explain it to them, like with the cereal boxes, are you talking about sugar and calories, or are you talking more about how it can help you're talking more in their context and their goals?
I will never mention calories. I will never mention fat at all to them. No one.
Look, you know what drives them in whatever they enjoy, and you link it to that somehow.
I have to link it to that. I have to just say, I focus on sugar because sugar you can link to bad teeth, for example. I'm very conscious of not getting my children into thinking about calories and fat. Not at all. It's a very dangerous topic to kind of talk about with your children when they don't fully understand. But it's more, for my older son who is obsessed with football, he's not going to be chosen in the future if he doesn't eat well. You can't fill your stomach up with things like sugar. You're not going to, gain the most from that. And, my little boy who's 4 years old, who doesn't have a clue, but he's not going to have, he's not going to be able to do what his older brother does if he doesn't eat well. He doesn't, he's got to always think about what he wants. And it's so similar to what our clients do. What do you want to do? Well, this is what you have to give up, and there's so many similarities actually when we're looking at coaching our clients. It really ties into what we tell our children. It's quite scarily similar, and even how we have to deal with them as well, because not everyone understands nutrition and fitness and why we say 10,000 steps, and they have to be explained. And it's just like with children. If you want to reach your goals, these are the non-negotiables. My son has got his non-negotiables. He's got to have his porridge in the morning. He's got to do his press-ups in the morning. If he can do his non-negotiables, and I don't see why someone of our generation can get their non-negotiables done, because trust me, he doesn't want to be doing press-ups all the time. He'd rather be watching TV. He'd rather be having those Cocoa Pops, but he wants his goal is to be on the football team, so that's what he's got to do. So our clients' goals are to lose weight, to look good for their 40th, to feel more confident, to not feel so low. So yes, that you are going to have to sacrifice things and to get to your goals.
When it comes to kids and leading by example, having an active lifestyle, how do you plan social activities, family days out? Is it very much activity based? Are you keeping health at the forefront for a lot of the time? What sort of example have you got here?
It's very, very much activity based. So even down to, for example, holidays. Our holidays, we can't just sit on a beach lazing around. It's just not something that we do. So we'll do something like skiing, which is obviously very active. Just got back, say, from Costa Rica. We would do trekking through the rainforest, skydiving. My son and my husband have a go at surfing. It's very, very active, even on holidays. In terms of day to day, on the weekends, for me, turning the TV on, it just ruins me. But obviously, sometimes you have to. But on the weekends, there are so many things that you can do on the weekend. And there are so many apps and websites that tell you kind of what walks to do with your children all around London. And it's a great thing to do. And then you have your goal, a little mini goal for that day for the children at the end of having a coffee for, the grown-ups and a little hot chocolate or something, or, at the end of that walk. So that's your mini goal. There we go. You can have that. There's trampolining, the winner for a rainy day, soft play centres, rock climbing. There's even there's amazing toys that I have bought that really test kind of reflexes of children. You're running around the room together. It's not just kind of sitting on a PlayStation. So yeah, our family days are massively action based. I'm not all the time. Don't get me wrong. We all went to see Lion King in the cinema, but a lot of it is because obviously me and my husband, we don't want to sit in these restaurants and, have all this food around us. So yeah, we like just to keep busy.
Yeah. And what about when you're going through a transformation or like a fat loss phase? How do you navigate around that?
Okay. So when I did my transformation, I was very open with my friends and family as to what I was doing. And frankly, I was not just going to change just because they thought I should eat out because they were eating out. And I didn't make restaurants and lunches the focal point of our social life. And I think that's where things need to change as well with a lot of people. And it does. I would, when we were going through our fat loss stage, I would never arrange a meal out. If my friends wanted to go, sometimes I wouldn't go. I would just say, I'm not going. It doesn't fit into what I'm doing. If you guys want to come to my house to meet up, that's absolutely fine. And that's something that I do tell my clients a lot is I understand that you have to meet your friends and you want to kind of have a chat and you want to have some food and stuff. So, well, I always kind of tend to host then, and I'll say, okay, you guys come to me. I'm then in full control of the food. Down to the point of we're doing, in a fat loss phase. I remember once doing a barbecue, and we obviously did, something that was would fit into our macros, to the point that went to the butchers and the chicken thighs were for everyone else, and then me and my husband would have the chicken breast. Sometimes in a restaurant you won't get that luxury always of being able to choose exactly how it's going to be cooked. So I would say during my transformation, I either didn't go out that much, or I just entertained at home, or when it was girl stuff, we did spa days, coffee shop visits, walks. Walks are, to me, the best thing you can do with your husband, your boyfriend, friends, children. To me, that is the winner. You're getting your fresh air, you're getting your steps in, and you can then stop, have a coffee, and then move on, and you're catching up. It's not just about going for a meal and having 5 courses that you don't need. I mean, of course, I had my days where I did go out, and I enjoyed those days, but day to day, that's what I used to do.
What about navigating around busy kids' schedules?
Okay. Yes, this is my day today. You take each day as it comes. Now, to navigate through a children's schedule, as every parent will know here, is that it changes every day. You hope that no short-term changes. So the night before, I always just make a list of things, my non-negotiables for the day, which, as I said, of course, will be the gym, but things that have to get done from doing the washing the football kit and, doing the ironing, whatever. But what I've noticed from a lot of my clients and what they've learned very quickly is that being organized for a parent or anyone even working is the key in this process. You've got to get your batch cooking done. You've got to make sure that you've allocated the time to go to your gym. You never ever say, oh, I'll just go to the gym maybe later on, everything being well, yeah, I'll go. No, that's not how your mindset should be if you're working or you're a busy parent. You just have to get that gym in. And if you actually organize a time the night before, you can fit things in. It is incredible how much time there is in a day to get things done. So much time is wasted by me, myself, loads of people of scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, and it's actually quite sad in a way that time could be used more effectively. So organization is key here when it comes to having the busy life schedule.
Yeah, but what happens if things go off course? I know you mentioned the non-negotiables, but I know you always talk about the unpredictability and the often lack of real routine, and that can throw someone if it's not ingrained into your lifestyle. So for you right now, it's so core to go and train that you'll do that no matter what. But if someone hasn't developed that habit yet, and they still need to navigate around the unpredictability of different schedules, what advice would you give there?
So when you say different schedules, I'll give an example. Your child falls ill and you can't go to the gym. Yeah. So
going to the gym is not a habit yet, or they haven't got the structure in place yet, or it's not a non-negotiable. They haven't seen the benefits yet.
Okay, I think for something like that, yeah, then I'm leaning on from that. I think what a lot of people would do would use your child being sick, for example, as an excuse. Oh, I can't go to the gym. Never mind, it doesn't matter. But I think when you starting this whole journey, which I have done, and when it wasn't a non-negotiable in those days and these unpredictable things would come about, you always really have to think about your priority. You've got to think about your goal. And there were times, of course, my children being sick. And this is back in the day when it wasn't so ingrained, as you said, into me. And there'll be times where you can't go to the gym, but you can do stuff at home. I remember my child just in front of the TV, just feeling miserable. And all I would do is I've always got dumbbell weights, resistance bands. You do something in the house. You can get your 10,000 steps done in the house. I'm sorry, you can, as a mum, you can get it done going up and down the stairs. There's always something that you can do. even if physically you may not feel it's as good as a workout in the gym, that doesn't matter. It's a mental part of your day to day. You think, right, I've managed to do that for the 1 hour. It's part of your habit. It's part of the habit forming that is key. You have started this new program. You're trying to break your old habits and instill your new ones. So that's where, if it's not instilled in you, it's not ingrained in you, that is where you have to every day think, what is your priority? I've got to get it done, and look around you for those people who inspire you. And slowly, it will become your non-negotiable, because you've done it on those unexpected days.
Brilliant. Yeah, it all comes back to realigning with your why, understanding your priorities, and making sure you remember you're number one.
Yeah, and completely. And there were days where, of course, I couldn't go to the gym. I'm not a robot. Of course, there were days where I had to go on these annoying school trips. I've got one next week, and I'm like, how am I going to go to the gym? So, okay, I've got to get up at 5 o'clock then, or I'll have to go at 8 o'clock at night, or I'll have to do something at home. So, yeah, I completely get it. But you've got what I'm seeing is you've got to sacrifice these things in order to get to where you want to be. And as we teach our children, life isn't easy. Nothing comes for free. If you want it, you've got to work for it.
Yeah. So fitness and the transformation journey has such a profound impact on you that it's actually created a career shift for you, in that you weren't always in the fitness industry, and you actually an ACA coach for a long period of time, where you were coaching in a different capacity, but coaching nonetheless. And then you've had this career shift. What sparked that? And give us a little background of what you were doing before. So I think that's very important, because you've got a lot of knowledge from there that's very transferable into what we do now.
Okay, so previously, I was I'm a chartered accountant, did all of that, did all the month ends, as loads of my clients think that I'll understand, because they're doing their month ends as well. I then decided to be a ACA coach. So that would mean teaching the ACA to, thousands it must be, because I did it for over a decade.
What is the ACA, for those that don't know?
The chartered accountancy qualification. So you would go to, my students would go to university, finish their degree, they'd then go and do a graduate program and an accountancy firm, and they'd come to our college and we would teach them all the different subjects to become a chartered accountant. So doing that, I'm meeting multiple types of clients, different personalities, different backgrounds, but all pretty much with the same goal of wanting to be a chartered accountant. So that was my job as an ACA coach. Now, I've spoken about my why and how it changed, and I'm composed now, so I don't want to, we've spoken about what made me change the industry into a different industry, but the skills that I acquired of being an ACA coach, it's pretty much the skills that I needed here now in being an online coach here for RNT. It's understanding what your clients want. It's trying to get them to where they need to be. It's understanding that every client has got different circumstances, like every student had different circumstances, and using my skills and my technique to be able to get them to where they want to be. I had to use multiple strategies for people who had different disorders, people who didn't want to work on the weekends, but they really had to, people who got bored in class, people who struggled, and it was using the different ways that I could to get them to reach their goals. Very, very similar to what we do now. We have all our clients, they've got their own particular goals. You have to adopt a different face for different people, and that's where I think I'm going to enjoy in being an RNT coach, because I've built up this world of coaching experience that completely transfers into this industry.
You talked about the face. You're referring to the 7 faces of online coaching. Which face in particular are you most fan of, and do you find yourself wearing the most?
Empathy. Empathy to me is the key, because when I was teaching the ACA, I had been through the pain of having those exams, are sleeping 4 hours a day because you have to study all the time. I've been through that. I know how much work, how much discipline, how much sacrifice is needed. So I could completely relate to my students. Just like here, I've been through the transformation. I know exactly what it feels like. I remember when I did my transformation, I remember messaging my coach in those days saying, I cannot physically go down the stairs. I have no energy. What can I eat? I need something. I know that pain, and I know the little tips and the little techniques in order to get you through the pain, in order to get you to the next day where you will most likely feel better and be able to face whatever your next challenges are. So to me, empathy is something that is the face that I'm going to enjoy wearing.
The empathizer.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, it's what we always talk about. You have to take yourself to the extreme as a coach in your own practice in order to take your clients to the extreme. And the biggest part of that in what you learn is empathy. And even if your clients don't want to get to that extreme that you're going to, you can learn empathy along the whole spectrum of the journey.
Exactly. That's it. That's exactly my point. And I'm really, it's actually really exciting that I've got all these years of being a coach. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to say it. It didn't overly excite me to teach tax every single day. However, this is an industry that is genuinely exciting. It's constantly changing. It's making you physically strong. It's making you mentally strong. And you just meet the most lovely of clients who you can completely relate to. And it's so true. You want them to get out of whatever rut they're in. You want them to smash their goals like you have, because you know how good it feels. And I really want them to be there and look back. Like I've said to a few of them, I want them to be in that changing room, in a shop, and just look at themselves and just say, you know what, I did it. Just like I helped so many students get their ACA qualification, go, yeah, I did it. That is what excites me.
Your passion is shining through here, and I love it. If you had to give one tip to a client who's beginning their journey now, what would it be?
Can I give two? Take each day as it comes, and every time you have self-doubt, you think about, why are you doing this? There is a reason why you have signed up to do this. Always think about why you are doing this, because when you are feeling low and you think you can't do it, you're getting comments from family, from friends, you're bored of eating the same food, you're hungry, just go back and think, why are you doing this? Because that will push you through your hard days. And
in those hard days where you've got all these things going on, how do you remember your why? As weird as that might sound, how do you dial in on that?
For me, I found it very easy because my why was a loss. Okay, so for me, I found it very easy. But for something that my older son does, which again we've spoken about in team meetings, is affirmations. He gets up every day and he's got it stuck on his cupboard door about the things that he's going to do each day. So again, that's just become part of his non-negotiable. I mean, my 4-year-old's got no chance of doing this, different characters. But I would say for people whose why maybe gets kind of pushed down because of the day-to-day stresses, you sometimes need to put your why to the forefront. And there's some of us who are unlucky for me, that my why was of the forefront of my mind every single day, every single second of the day. But some people don't have that. So an idea would be what I do, my son does, have it written down. And I know a lot of the other coaches do this as well. They stand in front of the mirror and they say, what they're going to achieve for the day, or what is their goal and why are they doing what they're doing. Sometimes you just have to kind of make that in your routine.
Brilliant. Oh, yeah, it's a great piece of advice. What are you most looking forward to in the final bit of 2019?
Oh, there's loads to look forward to the next few months. Obviously, working with my lovely clients and the team. But on a personal level, we've got loads going on. We've got Diwali, we've got Halloween, we've got Christmas. Bring it on. I'm looking forward to, as much as I'm dreading making those costumes, like I know loads of other mums and dads are going to feel, and the trick or treating and the whole drama with that. I'm looking forward to all of that. Diwali, Halloween, Christmas. It's a fun time for families.
That reminds me, give us some tips for Diwali and Christmas.
Okay, so Diwali.
Just around that time, so it'll be perfect timing. Go for it.
Okay, a good tip for Diwali is you've got to think about what you have to think about for Diwali. Why are we celebrating Diwali? Okay, again, I sound like I'm nagging, but it comes down to the why. You're celebrating Diwali because you're celebrating good over bad. You're not celebrating eating all the food and everything that comes along with it. So I'd say a good tip for Diwali is you host your Diwali dinner, massively going forward. Of course, if you can't host that, you also have to understand that Diwali is obviously a family time and a social gathering, and it can be deemed to be quite disrespectful not to have some food. And I've had lots of my clients who are saying, I can't say no to food. So fine, you are allowed to have something small, something to kind of be respectful, but food shouldn't be the focal part of the Diwali celebration. However, if you do have to go for dinner and you do have to kind of do the thing, especially with your in-laws, then buffer that day. As I'm sure lots of people have read about, increase your cardio, increase your steps for that week, just so that you can incorporate this Diwali meal. But remember, just because it's Diwali, it doesn't mean that you have a big blowout meal. There shouldn't be that link.
Yeah, portion control, self-awareness, mindfulness, keep all of that.
Exactly.
And the same applies to Christmas, I'm assuming.
And the same applies to, same exactly for Christmas. I mean, you've just got to, Christmas is a bit easier, I think, when it comes to the food, because, you just got your turkey, then you can have your veg. So to me, it's just about having control. I just do a lot of the hosting just so I have the control. Or take a dish. You want to go to your friend's house, you want to do something for Christmas, I'll bring a dish. And then you eat your dish that you're bringing. Doesn't mean you can't meet your friends. Or so what if they're going to take the mick? Yeah, of course they're going to take the piss out of you that you're not having that. Yeah, go on, let them. But you'll be the one laughing when you're the one looking amazing in your bikini on your 40th birthday. So just think about what you're doing it for.
Amazing. Any parting words?
Enjoy the whole thing. Enjoy it, whatever you're doing. Life is too short to worry about too many things. Enjoy life, because that's what I'm trying to do. And family is everything.
Amazing. Thanks so much for coming on, Shaneeta.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for being here today on this episode of RNT Fitness Radio. I'd love for you to do a quick little favor for us. Please head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, and share it with your family and friends. If you're interested in learning more about how to transform your body and positively change your life, go to www.rntfitness.com and explore all our free content on offer. Thank you.